Welcome to twoquestions.tv. Today I'm talking about love. Welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. And today's Valentine's Day, so I thought I'd shoot a quick video to talk about love. Love. So there are lots of kinds of love, and today I'll be focusing on two of them. First, I'll talk about love and relationships, because I do believe that your relationships are crucial to your overall success and balance in your life. Then I'll talk about love for your work and what you do and why that's important. So let's talk about love in relationships. And in this case today, because it's Valentine's Day, I'm talking about a spouse or a significant other. But much of what I have to say is also relative to people in your life who might not be your spouse or significant other that you might also love, like family or friends or kids or, I don't know, your puppy, like my puppy Gus. I feel strongly that your significant other and the quality of your relationship with him or her, it's crucial to your success. My husband is supportive of my work and my business, and he's always there to be a sounding board, a confidant, and even sometimes a coach when I really need it. I've had clients along the years who have had spouses who weren't supportive of their entrepreneurship, and that's been one of the areas where we tended to focus when we started our work, because if you're successful in spite of your relationship, that relationship is unlikely to survive. And it's also not going to be as sweet a victory as if your spouse was a part of that and was there by your side through it. So what is love? Is it hearts and rainbows and butterflies? No, I don't think it is. I think sometimes it starts that way, but I don't think that's what love is at its core, at its essence. I think love is deep, it's heartfelt, it's sacrifice and putting someone else above you sometimes. It's something that you continuously work at and create through small behaviors and kind deeds. It's knowing your spouse thoroughly and knowing their history and their stories and understanding why they act the way that they do and being willing to work through all those difficult moments so that you come out on the other side stronger. It's setting aside your wants and your needs in favor of someone else's wants and needs sometimes. And it's giving when sometimes you don't really want to. Love's not easy. It's not the way that we've been led to believe it is in movies. We see these movies where it's so simple, and love's not like that. Now, at the beginning of any relationship, it is easy, right? I mean, that's the point. It's easy to fall in love, but it takes effort to stay in love. This year, my husband and I will celebrate our 10-year anniversary. In fact, today, on Valentine's Day, 10 years ago, on this day, in a beautiful romantic restaurant in a castle in Edinburgh, Scotland, my husband got down on one knee and proposed. We'd had a very exciting relationship that spanned 3 continents, and it was very whirlwind, and a lot of frequent flyer miles were involved. And now we've been married for almost 10 years, and staying together and keeping the love alive and creating a really strong marriage has taken a lot of effort and a lot of learning and growing on both of our parts over the years. I can say without a doubt, my husband Leo is the most amazing, kindest person I've ever known, and I love him so much. Happy Valentine's Day, Leo. And I think that it's been a really important and useful journey. So I've grown a lot being his wife. I've grown a lot as a person. I've grown a lot in my business. And I know he's grown a lot as well. And it's taken a lot of work. So that's relationships. Let's talk for a minute about your love for your work. Let's talk about calling. Because I said this in my book, Business in Blue Jeans, there are people who know their calling at the outset. My husband's like that. He knew his calling early in life. He knew what he was meant to do. He was meant to be a drummer. He knew that. And he's known for his whole life what his purpose was, what he was put here for. Other people take a while, and I'm in that category. It took me a while to discover that I'm meant to be a writer and a coach, and it took me a while to learn that I'm meant to have a show like this where I can talk as much as I want. But everyone doesn't know, right? And a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. They also don't really love their work. We know from the statistics, most people are disengaged from their work and really just see it as a means to an end. So for a minute, let's talk about that. If you don't love your work, it's time to think about either how you can come to love your work or how to find work that you do love. So maybe there are things in your work that you could learn to love. Maybe you could build a stronger connection to your workplace, to the company, to the mission. maybe you need to think about what your real role is in the bigger organization. But the point here is that to transform the way that you feel about your work when you don't love it, you have to transform yourself and the way you interact with your work and your workplace and your coworkers as well. Now, I don't necessarily mean that if you're a creative person doing completely banal, uncreative work, that you should figure out how to love that work. That may not work. You may need to find a creative outlet. But the key is to look for opportunities where you can connect and be present and find the good. But if you are a creative soul and you're doing repetitive, boring work that has absolutely no creativity to it, and you hate your work, and maybe you're not a creative person, you're doing work that just isn't for you, it's maybe time to think about finding something else. And that doesn't mean you should quit your job. Don't quit your job unless you have a new one. But to find what would make you happy, I really recommend taking some quiet time and spending it thinking and processing. Look back over your life to find what the common threads are. Look for patterns. For me, when I started looking back over my life, I realized I've been a reader and a writer as long as I can remember. I've also been a teacher my whole life, not in the classic sense, like standing in front of a classroom, but just in terms of teaching things, concepts, ideas. And that's really what I do now. I teach. Again, not in a classic sense, but in the sense that when I'm writing, I'm teaching. When I'm working with my clients as a consultant, I'm teaching. When I'm doing the show, especially these coaching moments, I'm teaching. So look for those patterns and look for the patterns in your life. And those should act as big clues to you. In those quiet moments, look for what makes your soul jump, what makes you feel buoyant. But also be realistic. Nobody's going to love their work all the time. In my interview with Mitch Matthews, we talk about that. I don't love scheduling or accounting, but it's a part of a business that I love. And I found that having other people handle those tasks can really help. But there's almost always some element of those things that I actually have to involve myself in. But the point is, life isn't about loving every single minute of it. You need the dark to appreciate the light. So you need the bad so you can love the good and appreciate the good. But without it, there's no contrast and everything's the same. So you need things you don't love to help you appreciate the things that you do. That's important. Love isn't perfect. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's hard, whether we're talking about the love you feel for your spouse or significant other, or the love you feel for your business. And I think knowing that it's messy and complicated and hard helps you to see that there's more love in your life than you might actually have realized. So look for the love in your life. Look for what's there that you might not have seen before, and appreciate that there are things in your life that you don't love, so you can really appreciate the things that you do. So happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and rate us on iTunes. I'll see you next time.